Hello, I'm Tactical Pascale. Welcome to the channel. I hope this finds you all safe and well. This video is on startup, taxi and takeoff in the Spitfire Mark 9. Okay, here we are in the Spitfire Mark 9. Now before we go with the startup, there's a few controls you need to bind. So go to adjust controls. First thing, axis assign. You want engine RPM bound on either a split throttle if you have it, or a slider if you have it in your joystick, and you also need the throttle bound to a separate thing. I'll show you where they are now. So if you look to the left hand side, you've got your propeller RPM and then you've got your throttle, two separate handles, and that's going to control your RPM and your boost, which is important for climbing, that I'll cover in a later video. Next thing you need to bind is the starter button and the booster coil. So again, escape, adjust controls, and then you want booster coil, and then you want starter button. You're going to have to press these two buttons at the same time, as well as then throwing the mixture control lever forward. So have them on a button that you can easily access, and then mixture control is going to be thrown forward with the mouse. So first thing, propeller RPM all the way forward, carburetor air control, throw that forward. Just underneath the trim wheel is the fuel pump, turn that on. Move the stick to the left, turn on the main fuel tank, open the covers on the booster coil and the starter coil, roll open your primer, pump it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times and 5 times, then roll it back closed. Then we're going to turn on the magnetos 1 and 2, and then we're going to press and hold both the starter button and the booster coil, and then shortly after that prop starts moving, throw the mixture control forward. So prop moving, mixture control forward, engine catches, engine is started up. If you want your lights on, that's your external lights button there. If you want to turn on your gun sight, that's just there. So that's the Spitfire started up. Nice and easy. Takes seconds. So what I'll do is I'll taxi out to the runway, because the taxi in the Spitfire is notoriously difficult. I'll bring up the controls. So the Spitfire doesn't have toe brakes. What it has is a brake lever, which is here. Again, bind that to a switch, and as you can see, I've pulled the brake. Both left and right brakes have activated, and that's indicated here. If I want to deconnect the left brake, I stamp on the right. If I want to disconnect the left brake, I stamp on the left. So the left is braking, so I'll turn to the left. The right is braking, I'll turn to the right. You can use these in taxiing to spin it around quicker. Also for takeoff, don't use them at all, because you'll just spin your aircraft. So when taxiing, a lot of people struggle in the Spitfire. That's because they allow this RPM to go forward. You push the throttle too far forward. So we're just going to have that RPM sitting at about 11. So if I gently go forward, if you go above about 11 or 12, the aircraft wants to turn to the left with that engine torque. So I'm going to turn here, I'm going to put a little bit of right brake on, so right rudder in, pull the brake lever. A little bit more throttle as I want to turn that corner, and then I'm going to let her drift a little bit. I can look out the side of the cockpit, make sure I'm taxiing straight. Coming a bit to the left, so I'm just going to go left pedal then right pedal. If I feel that I'm taxiing too fast, I'm just going to tap the brakes, because if you press and hold, the nose is going to switch forward and you're going to nose into the ground and break your prop. So taking the taxiway, continue right. I could taxi across the grass, so unlike the jets and DCS, when you taxi in the grass and you get stuck, the Spitfire and other warbirds can taxi over grass easily, because that's where they're designed to take off from. So I'm going to head towards the runway, then I'm going to take a right, so my right pedal is in, and then I'm pulling on the brake lever, and that's going to spin me round to the right hand side. Keep it coming until you're lined up. It's important to get lined up fairly straight with the warbirds. Went a bit too far right there because of the roll. Now, the canopy needs to get shut. Well, it doesn't need to, but it's easier to hear. So, takeoff roll. You're not going to go above 30 RPM, so you're going to throttle up to 30 RPM, but you're going to do it in such a way that it's going to take about 10 seconds to get from there right round to 30 RPM. Excuse me, so that's a very slow throttle up. Now it helps in the Spitfire if you bring the stick back towards you. That puts the weight on the tail wheel, stops it sliding around so much. When we get to 60 miles per hour, just beyond 60, we're going to gently let the stick come forward to the neutral. That's going to bring the tail off the ground, and then we're going to continue controlling with left, right. So you'll see constant adjustments over here. Down that bottom line, you'll see constant adjustments on the rudder pedal. Now before we go, trim nose down to it's about level with that screw. If you've got it bound to the stick, you just press and hold your trim down button. If you don't have it on a stick, this is the trim wheel here, you can roll it with a mouse. You also want to trim the rudder to the right, to starboard. So again, if you've got it on a trim hat, trim it that way. If not, just roll it with the mouse wheel. And you want to do it until port comes up to the top. Now, we're going to go for takeoff. So, stick all the way back, and then I'm gently advancing the throttle now. Countering with a bit of right pedal, a little bit of right, a little bit more right. We're now at 30 RPM, the speed's coming up, so stick's coming slightly forward, back to the neutral, tail comes off the ground. I'm just building up speed. As I get to about 110 miles an hour, gently pull back on the stick, gear comes up, and that is our Spitfire airborne. Now we're going to push our boost to 12, but bring our RPM down to about 2800. That'll give us a nice good climb rate in the Spitfire. Then you just carry on. That's it, it's that simple. If you like to come and fly with a group of people who are going to help you learn the Spitfire and fly massive battles online, then come along to Tactical DCS. The link for the Discord is below. We've also got 2 servers running on DCS, our dynamic mission server on the Persian Gulf and our training server on Caucasus, where we help you learn any module you want. We've got a Spitfire campaign coming up soon. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, then I'll link it in the end of the video. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much to everyone who has watched, liked and subscribed. Tactical Pascale, out!